What's going on, guys? So if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you know that we do a lot of cleaning up messes. And by cleaning up messes, I mean usually something breaks, somebody tries to weld it, they do the best they can for the materials and the equipment that they have, and it's usually not good enough. These things tend to break and whatever else. And you know what I notice a lot is repairs that are done just to get either, you know, the motorcycle back on the trail, or you know, your car back on the road, or whatever it may be. They're done quickly, hastily, and then, you know, whatever. But what happens a lot of times too is somebody will fix something, they'll booger it all up, and then they'll sell it, which then the buyer ends up with this gigantic mess that they have to clean up. And so if you're that guy, stop doing that, because it's just not nice, it's not cool, and people don't appreciate it. So the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention too is that, you know, with what I'm about to show you, this could potentially be a safety issue or a safety hazard. And when it comes down to the safety of someone else, you want to make sure that whatever it is that you're repairing, you're doing it correctly, especially if you're going to sell the vehicle to someone else who may be putting their kid on it, you know, might be putting a loved one on it, or might be even riding it themselves. You're going to put them in danger. So what we're going to be looking at today is, this is from a 2012 Honda 400EX four-wheeler ATV, and the piece that broke on this is actually the piece that this goes through, which is basically the main support for the engine, and if I'm not mistaken, this goes through the swing arm as well, and ultimately holds a good portion of the motor in place. And this one's busted, and you can see that it broke right off of there. This is the piece here, fits right back on there like that. And then also this side broke as well, and if you notice, this bushing right here is pretty loose in the bore. So we have a multitude of problems here. First, we broke right here. It is cracked all along the side right here, and that wasn't addressed. We also have this piece that broke off again. And the reason that this broke off is you can see how small these welds are, and the fact that this was never prepped properly. So you can still see all the porosity in the casting, and you could see how much of it was not actually welded, being that this right here, this top section, is the weld bead, and this is the whole material that that actually broke. So what we're going to be doing is, because we can't actually get full penetration on this, we're going to bevel the crap out of this upper edge. We're going to go ahead and bevel this bottom edge right here. And then we are going to take this piece and do the same. We're going to bevel it as well, bevel again, and then we'll get this piece back up on here. We'll get it welded in place. And once we get this welded in place, we're going to cut a chunk of aluminum, which we're probably going to have to cut two chunks of aluminum because this case separates in the middle. So we're going to cut a chunk of aluminum that'll strap this entire thing, and we're going to weld that in. And then we're going to do the same for this side and weld that in, so that we have some extra strength down here and over here, because as it stands right now, there's even metal missing from right in here that we'd have to figure out how to get back. So we're going to go ahead and clean this thing all up, and then I'm going to grind it up and get it ready to go, and I'll bring you guys back to right before we're ready to weld it. All right, so as you guys can see, we actually got this all cleaned up. This whole section is all cleaned up nice. We got all of the old weld material off of the bottom right here, but you can see that this section, we left it super rough. And there's a reason for that. Number one, we can't get in there to weld that particular section right there because it is inside a cavity that we can't get to. And then you also notice we left some roughness right up in here. Now, the reason that you do that when you're working with cast material is because when it snapped with all of that rough material there, all of that rough material there, and it snapped in a way that when you go ahead and put this back on, it is literally going to only fit and key itself and basically snap in there, just like that. So it will kind of seat itself back into the area where it snapped, and then everything will line back up, and we'll give that a little bit of a tap just to get it in there. And once we do that, you guys can now see how much area we have to put filler material in right there, and how much area we have to put filler material in down here, we're going to build up a really, really nice weld bead, and we'll probably do 2 or 3 passes on that just to make sure that it's in there super strong. And if we get lucky, we may not even have to throw a strap on this to kind of hold it in place, but we'll see when we actually get to welding it. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and get a couple of tacks in here just to kind of hold it in place, and then once we've got the tacks on there, we'll go ahead and we'll burn this thing in. We're using some big 3/32 filler rod. We're at about 200 amps, using a number 6 cup, which, I mean, whatever, it's aluminum, only about 10 CFH of gas flow. We just want to get in there and get a tack on this thing. Alright, now cast aluminum is super tough, especially when it's had tons of oil in it and it is oil soaked. So we're definitely going to have our work cut out for us here. As we try not to pour oil all over everything. She's leaking like crazy. Now we're just going to make sure that this is in place. Which we're not going to be able to get this absolutely perfect, but we'll get it close. Alright, so now we have some really nice tacks in there. So go ahead and just give it a good hammer. Make sure it's seated. And now what we're going to do is we're going to run our root pass. And then once we get the root pass in, we're going to let this thing cool, because we do not want to heat this entire case up. Once you heat this entire case up, you're going to start ruining rubber O-rings and seals and gaskets and everything else. So we want to get in here, get our root pass in quick top and bottom, and then give it some time to cool off, and then we'll come back to it. So here goes the root pass. Alrighty, so there is the quick and dirty root pass. Now, I can't see the screen, which I gotta turn that on. There we go. So now you can see we have plenty of room up top and plenty of room down bottom to add more material. You can see how dirty this aluminum is by all the popping and spitting. And there's our root pass on the bottom. We went ahead and sealed all the way up to there. So now we're gonna let this cool off, and then we're gonna come in and we're gonna put probably another pass there, another pass there, and then same thing on the bottom. Pass on the side, make them interconnect, and then this thing will be pretty darn strong, just based on the material that we're putting in. And then we got to figure out if this bushing is going to fit over here still. You can see that there is a significant gap in the case right here, but this was mangled pretty good, so we're only going to get it close. It's not going to be 100%, but at least it will hold on, just because our welds are going to hold on. And then we'll come back, and this weld here, I don't know if you could see it, but that's one of the originals that I ground down. Still has a big old crack in it. Same thing down here, super porous, big crack in it, and we're gonna have to figure out how to repair this stuff. So here we go. And here we go. So we are obviously not looking for beauty. We're looking for function. We're looking for material to be laid in there and something to strengthen up that crack a little bit, because it still does go all the way through and there's really nothing we can do about it. We can't weld down inside there. So unfortunately we have to rely on the amount of material that we're able to get into these cracks. Now we're going to go ahead and clean these up with the grinder just a little bit, just to kind of flatten them out a little, but we do not want to take a ton of material off of here. And you can see on this side too, we actually ran down into this section here, but you can see this side is cracked all the way through as well. But we've got it at least to a point now where it's attached again and it's not going to go anywhere. So we're going to clean that up. We got to obviously make sure that our bushing fits in there, which it does. We'll tap it in and it'll be fine. It'll go right in. But This is a critical area of this engine, and to have it fixed with one tiny little bead like it was originally, not a good thing. So we went ahead and put divots in these two beads, and we managed to get some nice material down in there. We spread them out so that we have some more contact point, and we're literally just going to clean these up a little bit and we'll be good to go. And there you have it. And as you can see, we didn't take anything off of these beads up here. And the reason being is because it's near this bolt hole and I want as much material on there, so I don't care what it looks like. And then this section where the big crack was, you can see it looks pretty flat from this side, but if you go over here, maybe we can get you a good angle of it. You can actually see how much material is lumped up right in this area right here versus it being super thin like it was over here. And that's going to help with it cracking. And then also down here on the bottom, we went ahead and didn't do anything either. We just left it alone as it is with all that material in there so that we're good. And then same thing goes on this side. We did grind it down a little bit, but you can see that there's still a huge lump of material right here where that crack is. So that should help pretty significantly with any future cracking. But once a casting like this breaks, you're kind of screwed. It's a tough way to go about things. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video. I know that we seem to do a lot of Jeep stuff lately, and I wanted to kind of, you know, give you something a little bit different, but just a quick word of advice. When welding these motorcycle cases, it's a hit or miss. They're either going to break again or they're not. I mean, it's one of those things where this repair could hold for the next 20 years, or you could put it in the bike, go off a 7-foot jump, and it'll break the next time around. But the most important thing is get as much material on there as you possibly can. Because we cannot weld the full joint, the full brake, we can't get inside that bore, we can't do any of that. We need to make sure that we have enough material on top to take into account the material that we can't weld. And so by putting a ton of material on this, it should hold just fine. And we put it, you know, in the areas that were stressed. We re-welded an area that was already stressed, but only time will tell. This is not by any means a permanent repair. If it lasts great. It turns into a permanent repair, but this is something that you do just to get your bike back on the road before you can buy a new set of case halves, because that's the only really true way to fix this, is to buy another set of case halves, pull the whole motor down, replace the case halves, put the whole motor back together, and you're good. But that gets super expensive. You know, repair like this may cost you $200, $250, depending, you know, where you take it or what shop you take it to. And, you know, something like this is going to last for probably the life of the time that you have the vehicle. So, but just, you know, on a side note, make sure that you're doing these things right. If you're doing them for someone else and not yourself, make sure that you put extra stuff on here so that it doesn't break and cause a safety hazard for someone else. Definitely a good idea to make sure you do it right. Don't half-ass it. Make sure you whole-ass it. So, hope you guys enjoyed that one. Thank you so much to everybody who's new subscriber-wise. I just got a ton of subscribers because I was in another Jimmy video. And I really appreciate everything that Jimmy Oaks does. Every time I show up in one of his videos, you guys come over and light up my subscriber count. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll get to, I don't know if you guys can see it in the background, but we'll get to that nice little cutlass pretty soon. We got to order up some materials tomorrow and get moving on that. But for now, have a great night, and I'll see you guys on the next one.